Hello, I am Missy Riddles, and I am really excited to participate in the Business Summit. And I am streaming in multiple locations, but I wanted you to have a chance to jump on for the Online Business Summit if that is something that you are wanting to attend. And I am here to help you get unstuck. And so if you are joining on my other platforms, then it's just a bonus for you. So let me share my screen so that we can get started. So my presentation is Unstuck: How to Release Yourself from Negative Thinking. And like I mentioned, it is in the Women Entrepreneur Online Business Summit. And so if you are joining me, I am so happy that you took the time to participate and come and find out how to get unstuck. There was something about the description that made you think, that's me. What does she have to offer? So let's get started, shall we? So before we get started, let's do just a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure that you turn off all of your distractions. You took this time to focus on yourself, to strengthen what maybe is a little bit weak. So do yourself a favor and turn off the distractions. Have a notebook or something to write with. You might be a digital person, so grab your laptop or your tablet. Get ready to write down all you can so that you can start taking action. Make sure that you interact, comment, and engage. Grab a beverage. I got my flavored water. Get comfortable, and then let's have some fun. I like to have fun. Let me get a little drink before we get started. All right. So grab all of your things and let's get started. So in today's training, I'm going to give you just a little brief introduction about who I am. I'm going to give you a self-sabotage overview. We're going to go into just a few of the thinking traps, how to get unstuck from being in those traps, and then some next steps that you can take. So hello again. I am Missy Riddles, and I'm a business mindset strategist. I actually have another business where I am a licensed professional counselor, but that does not go into this world, but it just is to let you know that I know what I'm talking about. I have a program that's called Aligned Client Attraction Accelerator, and it's a one-on-one 90-day program where we work together to help you get unstuck, stop self-sabotaging so that you can get clients and your business can be successful. I also have a free Facebook group, Limitless Women, and I would love to have you join us if it is something that you feel aligned to. You can also find more about me on my website, which is missyriddles.com. So who is ready to stop self-sabotage? I hope that is you. You're raising your hand. You're maybe dropping some comments, a fire, a hand emoji, just something to let me know that you are ready to stop self-sabotage. So make sure that you have grabbed your pen and notebook or your tablet, whatever it is, because you are going to want to write down as much as you can so you can start taking action and stop those self-sabotaging behaviors. So I looked up sabotage. Actually, I tried to look up self-sabotage in the dictionary and it wasn't in there. So sabotage, this is one of the 3 definitions that it had, and it is an act or process tending to hamper or hurt. And that was in the Merriam-Webster online dictionary. And thinking about sabotaging, and that's doing something intentionally or deliberately, and in this definition, tending to. And sometimes with self-sabotage, we don't realize we're doing it. And that's why I'm hoping that you can take something away from this presentation to help you maybe recognize that you are doing some self sabotage. So I'm going to point out some examples of self sabotage that you could possibly be doing in your business. And so make sure that you're writing them down so that you can come back later and really think about behaviors that you are doing that could be sabotaging yourself. So I want you to just take a little brief moment and think about self sabotage. So if sabotage is to hurt or harm, um, then self sabotage would be to um, hurt yourself and not like physically hurt yourself. If you are, please reach out to a mental health professional in your area. But we are speaking in terms of business and actions or lack of actions that you are doing that are preventing you from getting clients or putting yourself out there. Maybe it's doing a live, whatever it is to market your business. Maybe you are sabotaging those efforts. Okay. And so that would be some self sabotage. So think about it for a minute. How does self sabotage affect business? So, write down some ways that you think self sabotage affects business. So, ways that self sabotage shows up in business is perfectionism. And as a recovering perfectionist myself, because it's always a work in progress, sometimes those perfectionistic tendencies show up for me and I really have to get them in check. And so it hasn't completely disappeared for me. It does still show up. And maybe it is showing up for you. Are you rearranging, for example, this presentation, making sure that it's perfectly aligned and all color coordinated, and it has to be symmetrical, or it is, I'm trying to think of things that I've done in the past, redoing it 5 times and then 5 more times because it's not perfect, right? What is perfect? Does perfection even exist? It's all in the perspective, right? And so if you're rearranging these slides and your marketing materials, making sure it's symmetrical or color coordinated or whatever, and I'm not saying I'm not the marketing expert. There are things that you want to do with branding, but if you are spending hours after hours working to create this perfect presentation, perfect marketing material. Is it getting out? Probably not. So that is how self sabotaging is affecting your business. Maybe it's procrastination. You're putting off things that you could get done right now. Are you overthinking? Oh, if I do it this way, or if I do it that way. Oh, wait, there's that other way. And you're just overthinking and you're not taking action, right? That is self sabotaging. Whoa, a big one that shows up for my clients is imposter syndrome. Who am I to say that I know the thing that I'm selling? Oh, what about Jane Doe over there? Or Jimmy John over here? Oh, they know more than I know. Oh, they're better. Are they? That imposter syndrome, it shows up. Okay. Oh, the never ending busy cycle, always producing different things, or you're at the end of the day and you're like, oh my gosh, I did so much, but was it productive or were you just busy? And it's kind of that loop of just doing things. And it's kind of like a hamster wheel almost. You're just doing things but we're not moving forward. We're just doing things here, right? Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. All of the fears that show up, those are self-sabotage in business. Another one is lack of boundaries. If you don't put boundaries in place for your clients, for yourself, then that is sabotaging your business. Boundaries are important. Boundaries are healthy and they're necessary. Another one that shows up for my clients is people pleasing, and they get stuck because they don't want to offend their clients, or they they work themselves until they're exhausted because they're constantly trying to please their customers. And that is a self-sabotage. Lack of focus or clarity or priority, overworking. Like I said earlier, you're just doing all of the things. You're working endless hours, okay? And then you're not taking care of yourself. And I mentioned that one, lack of self-care. Another one is difficulty setting realistic goals. So, what are goals? Sometimes we have to break them into little goals to achieve a bigger goal. So, what are realistic goals for you and your business? And are you setting them? Because if not, you're self sabotaging. Having a negative mindset is self sabotaging. Overcommitment, minimal confidence, and then, like I said, lack of self care. So, there are other ways that you can self sabotage in business, but these are the ones that show up with the clients who I work with. And so I wanted to put them on this presentation. Now, let's think about what it would look like to stop self sabotage. So I kind of broke it down into some kind of categories, some groups. So if you were not self sabotaging by that long list that I had, you would have greater clarity and focus. You would have increased productivity, which would then mean increased revenue, right? More money, because financial security is really important. You would have improved decision making so that you could increase that productivity through a greater clarity and focus. You see how those are kind of aligned, they work simultaneously together. You would have more confidence. You would have improved relationships. And overall, for that section or category, you would have a greater empowerment and an overall fulfillment, right? Doesn't that just, like, when you read it or hear me talk about it, it just gives you so much positive feeling, right? Like, wow. Because when we were reading the list before of like, oh, yeah, that was me. Oh, but this, wow, what an empowerment, right? You would have improved time management. I hear all the time when I jump on calls or I'm chatting through the DMs or whatever, I wish I had more time. Well, I don't have some magic wand to create more than 24 hours in a day. However, I have strategies to make it seem like you have more time in the day so that you can do the things that you really want to do instead of being on that endless loop of that busy cycle, right? Let's make um, some steps to reduce your time on that never ending busy cycle, and let's be productive. Let's create more time within your 24 hours to have a greater work life balance. Who doesn't want that, right? Like, we want to work. It feels good. Like I said, it gives you a financial security. You have a reason that you started your business, but you also want to do other things. You want time with your family. Maybe you're a mom or a spouse. Maybe you just want to have time to go to the movies or take a vacation. And let's find that daily, monthly, yearly work life balance. You will get more opportunities also if you reduce that self sabotage. Because sometimes when you're in that negative mindset, you can't see the opportunities that are around you. You have that fear, those fears that we talked about, and it reduces the opportunities. But the opportunities are endless. Okay. So let's take just a brief moment and write down some things that you tell yourself. I want you to think just the past week. If you can think farther than that, that's great. But let's just reflect on the past week. So last Tuesday was Valentine's Day, right? So let's think from then until now. And I want you to write down some things that you tell yourself or you think to yourself. Just a few of them. You can come back when this is over and you can write some more. Now, looking at what you wrote, what do you notice? Is there a pattern? Is something showing up? Are you noticing that you're telling yourself some negative things? Are they positive? What do you say to yourself? What are some things that you think? And what are some things that you tell yourself? Now, thinking about the past week or even longer, I want you to write down what you have accomplished recently. I'll give you just a few minutes to write those down. Some accomplishments. I always tell the people who I work with, and even in my group, the Limitless Women, we have Flourish Fridays on Friday where I post our wins. I tell them it doesn't matter how big or small, a win is a win. Even if it's something very little that you wouldn't even consider a win, when you stack them all together, then we have this really big sense of accomplishment. So, what have you accomplished recently? Maybe it was as simple as sending a DM or commenting in some of the Facebook groups on somebody's post. You know, it took courage to reach out to someone and to put yourself out there, because that is a self sabotage that we don't put ourselves out there. We are fearful of rejection or fearful of judgment. And so we don't take the risk sometimes. It takes courage to do that. And I want you to recognize that that takes courage. Now, some people, they don't think about it. That's just kind of like a blink, or taking a breath. It's just natural. But guess what? At some point in their life, they probably had a fear just like you do. But as they did it over time, that increased confidence. And then, like I said, it was just second nature. So think about what you've accomplished recently and write it down for me. Now, look at what you wrote. I want you to look at both lists. What do you notice? Is there a connection between what you wrote in the first list with what you just wrote with your accomplishments? If you don't have any accomplishments left written down, and you look at your list that we had at first about what you tell yourself, if it's all negative, that might be why you don't have any accomplishments. If they were more positive that you tell yourself or you think to yourself and you have some accomplishments, there's probably a correlation there. You see what I'm saying? All right. How you think of yourself can impact your productivity. Positive thoughts equals positive results. And that's where getting unstuck is going to be really important. And I'm going to talk about the thinking traps that gets you stuck, but we're going to get out of them. So don't get trapped. I always tell people your thoughts are very, very powerful. So use them wisely. Okay. We don't want like this graphic. We don't want to be trapped. We don't want to be stuck in this container. We want to be able to be out in the world, share whatever it is that you offer with your business. And then it comes back to you in clients, in money, independence, those kind of things, right? You don't want to be trapped in the container. The first trap is all or nothing. And I like to talk about black or white thinking. And that's where we think in extremes. It's either this way or it's that way. And when you think of black and white, in between black and white are shades of gray, many shades of gray, right? So it isn't that you can or you can't, right? When you have this all or nothing, when it's one way or another, it is very limiting, and it creates extreme and sometimes impossible expectations, right? So like, oh, well, I can't because, and then you'll have some excuse of why you can't, right? But if you can, then it opens up possibilities, right? But some way in here, like, I don't know much about that. However, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to put myself out there. You see where that goes? It's kind of in the between. But when you have that all or nothing, it's like, I'm either going to be successful or I'm just going to fail. Well, really, that's not true. Okay. If you are not perfect, then you're a failure or you're a loser. Well, that one's not true either. Okay. It's not an all or a nothing. There's lots in between. So to get unstuck from this all or nothing thinking, I want you to consider all of the options. Like I said, you might not know the way, you might not have an offer, but you can work with a coach to create an offer, or you might not have marketing strategies. You can work with a coach to work on marketing or personal development or whatever. That's to work with someone for options. But even if it is reaching out, you can reach out through the DMs, you can reach out through conversations, you can reach out through lives, you can reach out in groups, you can reach out for phone calls or video calls, right? So there's multiple options to become successful. It's not either successful or failure, right? There's options. And then look for partial successes. Like I said earlier, if you commented and you didn't used to do that and you commented on somebody's post, well, guess what? That was a partial success. If you sent a DM to someone, that's another partial success. If you made a phone call, that's another one. You see how that all goes together? And then focus on your positive qualities. What do you have to offer? Right? What strengths do you have to help you when you're self-sabotaging? Right? And separate your self-worth from your performance. So just because you had a goal to make 10 contacts and you didn't do that, that doesn't mean that your self-worth is little or minimal or doesn't exist. Your performance is not a reflection of who you are as a person. So please don't forget that. Don't get trapped. You have the power to do great things. So, trap number 2 is labeling. Labeling is when you take an event or something that happens, and now that is your truth. You create a negative thought, or it could fire up some painful emotions, right? So, in this one, in the graphic, I used unachievable, right? So, we had something that we were going to do, and it didn't have the outcome that you wanted it to. And so now you just might as well throw in the towel, right? The examples I put here is I made a mistake, so I am a mistake. That's not true. The mistake itself was a mistake. You as a person are not a mistake. The next example, I didn't complete it, so I will never do anything right. No, that was that one event. That does not mean that you can't do other events or situations and such, right? Just because you didn't have my example of the 10 contacts, that doesn't mean that you can't reach out tomorrow and make a contact or in the next 5 minutes or whatever it is. Just because you didn't complete it doesn't mean that you can't do anything right. What if instead of the contacts, you did something at home? Maybe you threw in some laundry. Maybe you cooked dinner. Maybe you ran some errands, right? It doesn't make your whole person because of the one thing that you didn't complete. All right, trap number 3, or sorry, getting unstuck out of trap number 2. Consider all of your options. Like I said, just because you didn't complete that one task, business related, doesn't mean you didn't complete something personal. Identify the positives. Well, I didn't reach out to 10, but I will reach out tomorrow. Okay. Or maybe someone reached out to you. You didn't initiate the contact, but somebody commented on your post. Don't fall into pity. Like I said, label the event or the situation itself, not you as the person. Don't fall into pity. I made a mistake. I am a mistake. No, that's not true. So don't fall into pity. And look at the behavior, not the person. You did not make the 10 contacts. That was the behavior of not making contact. But that doesn't make you a bad person or a worthless person or whatever. It was the behavior. Okay. Don't get trapped. Your mind is powerful, so use it wisely. Ooh, trap number 3, mind reading. You assume that you know what others are thinking. No, 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 no. That will get you in big trouble. When you mind read, you are creating a truth about what you think others are thinking. Oh, they're not going to like me. Or, oh, they're not going to think I know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. I created a post and not one person commented. They must think I'm an idiot. Or I sent a DM. They didn't respond. They must not care, right? You don't know any of that. What if they were busy? What if they have a schedule of when they come back and comment or when they're reaching out in the DMs, right? Do not assume. That's all you're doing when you're mind reading. You do not know. Okay. The examples I put here, they won't want to buy from me. They won't listen to me. Just like this, I'm doing this online business summit. I don't see any comments, but that doesn't mean that there are not people watching. It doesn't mean that people aren't listening. nor does it mean that they won't in the future because it is recorded, right? So do not assume. That is a thinking trap, and that will lead to self-sabotage. So do not do it. To get unstuck out of this trap, if you do mind read, I want you to ask, hey, what happened? We had a great call. You know, did something get in the middle of our schedule? Because you said you were going to reach out, or you mentioned last week you would get back with me. I was just following up. How are you doing today? Ask. Don't just think, oh, they don't want to buy from me. You don't know. Identify the evidence. What evidence do you have to support the thought that you're having? They don't want to buy from me. What evidence or facts do you have to support that thought? Probably don't. So that would be self-sabotaging. Do not allow others' opinions to define you. Got a typo there. I need to fix that. There's that perfectionist coming back in. Do not allow others' opinions to define you. You are you. People will have opinions just like you do, but it doesn't mean that their opinions define who you are. Remember that. That's really important. Another way to get unstuck from mind reading is to stop personalizing. Just because they didn't reach out or respond to your comments or your DMs or your phone calls or your emails or however you're reaching out to your potential market, that doesn't put some kind of label on you. Don't personalize it. Don't take it personally. They might have found a different business to work with. It might have been poor timing. Don't take it personally. So now we're going to take just a moment and we're going to do what I call examine and rewrite. And this is where you go back to the list of things that you thought about yourself and you rewrite them. If there was something that you said negatively about yourself, I want you to rewrite it in a positive way. Maybe it was, I'm such a loser because I did not reach out to 10 people today. So you could rewrite it and say, I was not in the best mindset today. And tomorrow I will reach out to at least 2. And if I get the 2 done, I will try more if I'm able. Something like that. Man, that imposter syndrome's really showing up. Well, I am going to put myself out there. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to trust the process because I can make a difference. That would be a rewrite for that imposter syndrome. Okay. So if you don't have time, if you weren't able to do it, you can go back later and look at them. And I want you to rewrite all of the negative ones. So this is where we take action. Okay. If you work with me in any capacity, whether it's one-on-one, my group coaching, or just in my Facebook group, free Facebook group, I'm all about taking action. So what is at least one way that you can change your thoughts to decrease your self-sabotage? Just one thing. And I want you to write it down. Okay. I'm not asking for a whole long list of things because that would possibly be self-sabotage, because then you're overcommitting to doing something. It's just one thing. Just like when we walk, it's one step in front of the other. So what is one way that you can change your thoughts to decrease your self-sabotage? Okay, so we are finished with the presentation, but before we end it, I have an offer for the summit. The summit is all week. Normally, I have a 30-minute strategy session for free. You can go to my website, you can schedule a strategy session for free. It's 30 minutes. It's just so people know who I am, I know who they are. We get to work for 30 minutes, whether that is some of these self-sabotaging behaviors. You know that you have imposter syndrome, or you procrastinate, or perfectionism. You know one of them, two of them, maybe five of them. I don't know. You know you have a self-sabotaging behavior and you want to reduce it, or you want more help to get rid of it, then that would be that strategy session. For the summit, I'm doubling it. I'm giving you 60 minutes for free. Maybe you're not sure if there's a self-sabotage behavior going on, but you know that your business is not where you want it to be. Schedule a strategy session. Maybe you don't have an offer and you want to create an offer. That's what I do, right? We work together to create that offer so you can get more clients, get that money rolling in. So instead of that 30-minute session, it would be 60 minutes. So you would go to my website, missyriddles.com/strategy, and my calendar pulls up. Make sure when you're filling out the questions that you mention summit when you're scheduling the session, so that I know it'll be 60 minutes, because it's not in 60 minutes on the calendar, but I will add that extra 30 minutes after that time. So 60 minutes of intense working together to figure out how you can get more clients, make more money, and stop self-sabotaging. Okay. And a bonus, I have a free guide to increase happiness and success. It is a downloadable or fillable PDF where you have some tips or techniques that you can use, and then it has some reflection things in it. Very similar to kind of what we did. I was teaching you and you reflect on yourself. I like to do that because we are working from the inside out. We've got to be solid inside so that we can be solid outside with our businesses. So my strategy is working the inside, from the inside to the out. Now, ways that you can connect with me. I have my Aligned Client Attraction Accelerator program. It's one-on-one, like I said, 90 days, 3 months. You can go to missyriddles.com, learn more about it. I also have my free Facebook group, Limitless Women. I would love to have you join. Facebook.com/groups/Limitless Women. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on most of the platforms. I would love to connect with you. Thank you again for joining me today, and I can't wait to have you pop into my world, either through the Aligned Client Attraction Accelerator or Limitless Women Facebook group. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.